$50 million one weekend, one golf course, while Caitlin Clark was securing endorsement deals that were higher than what most WNBA players make over entire careers. Her so-called peers in women's basketball stayed completely quiet. There were no congratulations, no public recognition, no passive-aggressive support disguised as praise, just silence, loud, deliberate silence that showed exactly what was happening behind the scenes. The LPGA praised her openly. NBA superstars spoke highly of her. Tiger Woods compared her confidence to his own early breakthrough moments, but the league that should have been the proudest of her crossover success behaved as if it never happened. That silence sent a message louder than words ever could. This was not accidental, this was intentional, and it exposed something many people have been saying for months. The WNBA does not know how to deal with greatness when it walks into the building. If you have been watching this situation unfold and thinking something feels off, hit the like button now, because what we are about to break down is not just about one golf tournament. It is about a system that would rather protect mediocrity than celebrate excellence. Let us be clear about what really happened at the RSM Classic Prom, because the surface-level story does not tell the full truth. This was not a casual celebrity golf appearance that accidentally drew attention. This was a lesson in star power, market value, and what happens when organizations make the massive mistake of trying to limit someone who was never meant to be limited. The RSM Classic Prom was expected to be what these events always are: a quiet weekend exhibition, some professionals, a few celebrities, small local coverage, nothing that would change the national sports conversation or create headlines outside the golf world. Just another event on the calendar. Then someone looked at the player list and noticed one name, Caitlin Clark, and everything shifted instantly. Tickets that had gone unsold for weeks disappeared within hours, and here is the detail that explains everything. People were not rushing to see Tiger Woods. They were not buying tickets to watch top LPGA players. They were there to watch a basketball player try golf. The athlete who reshaped the WNBA economic landscape was about to swing a driver, and suddenly everyone wanted to see what would happen. By the morning of the event, the course looked nothing like a normal golf tournament. Fans were wearing Indiana Fever jerseys instead of golf polos. Basketball merchandise was everywhere and clearly outnumbered traditional golf clothing. One announcer joked that it felt more like a Fever home game than a professional golf event. It was meant to be lighthearted, but it captured something deeper. The entire energy of the weekend had changed. What was supposed to be a quiet exhibition now felt like a championship moment. When her name was announced on the first tee, thousands of people went silent, the kind of silence that happens when a crowd collectively holds its breath, expecting something special. She walked to the tee box calm and smiling, like it was just another ordinary afternoon. Then she swung. The sound was pure and clean, that sharp crack that only happens when everything lines up perfectly. The ball flew 270 yards straight down the middle of the fairway. No slice, no hook, just center, exactly where a professional wants it. The crowd exploded. Tiger Woods, a man who has seen everything in golf, laughed and said it was the best first swing he had ever seen from a non-professional, coming from someone with his standards. That was not politeness, that was real validation. Within minutes, social media erupted. Steph Curry posted that Caitlin might actually be better at golf than him. That single post sent her name trending worldwide. ESPN began comparing her to the most natural crossover athletes in sports history. Golf publications ran headlines claiming she had just changed the sport forever. The coverage was not cautious or restrained. It was full recognition that something rare was happening. Through it all, she stayed humble, which only frustrated critics more. She said she was just there to relax and have fun, as if dominating a professional sport she does not even play was completely normal, as if creating more attention than most real tournaments was just another weekend. Then the story moved from impressive to revealing. Within 48 hours of the event ending, reports said Caitlin had finalized multiple major endorsement deals. A golf apparel brand signed her as a representative, a luxury watch company secured a partnership, a major beverage brand made her the face of a new campaign, a streaming service arranged a deal to document her training and possible future in golf. The total value of these deals was $50 million. Let that number sink in. She earned more from one weekend of exhibition golf than most WNBA players earn over their entire professional careers, not in one season, in their full careers. That gap is not opinion, it is simple math. Sports business writers started calling it the Clark Affect the idea that her presence alone transforms the financial reality of any event or league she enters. It had already been proven in basketball when her arrival caused ratings, attendance, and merchandise sales to surge. Now the same pattern appeared in a completely different sport, proving it was not about basketball, it was about her. Prom organizers revealed that her single appearance generated more revenue than their previous 3 events combined. 3 full tournaments could not match what one basketball player produced in one casual golf weekend. Merchandise with her name and image sold more than everything else at the venue. Golf fans with no previous interest in basketball were buying it simply because they wanted to witness someone truly special compete, and this is where everything connects. 2 leagues reacted in completely different ways. The LPGA celebrated her openly. Their social media promoted her involvement heavily. Their players welcomed her publicly and praised her privately. Their leadership understood that her participation brought attention to women's golf that years of traditional marketing never could. They realized that supporting a rising star helps everyone involved in the sport. Her achievements opened doors for the entire league to attract fresh viewers. The WNBA reaction was silence. Official pages barely recognized what was taking place. A league that gained massive value from Caitlin joining through ratings, crowds, and relevance struggled to acknowledge her success elsewhere. The organization that should have proudly highlighted its stars reaching new spaces instead behaved as if nothing was happening. Drop a comment if you have noticed this trend, because what we are seeing is not random. It is a deliberate approach that began the moment Caitlin entered the league. And it is failing badly. Fans caught on instantly and shared their thoughts everywhere. Comment sections filled with contrasts. One league promotes talent. The other promotes conflict. One understands branding. The other understands spite. The criticism was tough, but it reflected real disappointment from fans who wanted women's sports to grow and could not understand why the WNBA seemed intent on weakening its strongest draw. For months, certain voices inside the WNBA tried to shape the Caitlin Clark story. They restricted promotional exposure. They minimized her numbers. They resisted coverage that highlighted her individual impact. The plan appeared aimed at stopping any one player from becoming larger than the league. But stories cannot be controlled when results keep speaking loudly. She was no longer just the most sellable figure in women's basketball. She was becoming one of the most marketable athletes in sports overall. And people outside the WNBA seemed to grasp that more clearly than those inside it. The golf weekend revealed something that should deeply concern league leadership. Caitlin Clark does not need the WNBA, but the WNBA absolutely depends on Caitlin Clark. The reaction from the sports world went far beyond golf. Serena Williams praised her performance. Patrick Mahomes called her a fierce competitor. LeBron James shared clips and pointed out that she was simply on another level. These were not routine online gestures. These were sincere responses from top athletes who recognized excellence and felt driven to acknowledge it. Tiger Woods continued speaking about her in interviews afterward. He compared her confidence to what he experienced early in his own rise. Accuracy paired with boldness. The mindset to attack when others hesitate. The belief that winning is certain rather than hopeful. Coming from someone who has defined greatness for generations, those words carried enormous significance. The broadcast figures backed up what fans saw in person. Viewership for Caitlin's prom appearance surpassed what most LPGA finals attract. Golf networks that usually pull modest weekend numbers suddenly reached primetime levels. These ratings were not just strong for a prom. They were outstanding by any benchmark used in the sport. Let us connect the dots the WNBA seems eager to avoid. When Caitlin joined, ratings soared. When she played, arenas sold out. When her merchandise dropped, sales broke records. Every important indicator in pro sports improved because she was there. Yet instead of building the league around its most valuable figure, she was treated like an issue to manage. Now she has shown she can create the same effect in an entirely different sport. She steps onto a golf course with no professional background, swings in front of thousands and Tiger Woods included, and within 2 days secures $50 million in endorsements. She does not need basketball to succeed. She does not need the WNBA to flourish. She has become the platform. The quiet response from WNBA players becomes more telling when context is considered. These are athletes who have long pushed for fair pay recognition and exposure, all valid concerns. Then arrives someone who actually delivers the ratings, crowds, and revenue that could change everything. Instead of embracing it, many reacted with resentment. Between the lines, the message was obvious. They wanted mainstream benefits without accepting that sometimes one individual draws most of the attention. They wanted shared praise without admitting that star power is not evenly spread. They wanted popularity rewards while denying how popularity functions. Caitlin's golf weekend exposed this conflict brutally. The LPGA welcomed her and gained enormous returns. Historic viewership packed venues, global headlines, new fans. All because they chose to embrace talent instead of fearing it. The WNBA had that chance from the beginning and went another direction. Now they are watching their biggest star prove she does not need them nearly as much as they need her. When later asked if she might pursue golf more seriously or even consider the LPGA, Caitlin smiled and responded in a way that summed up her mindset. She said she was keeping options open. Anyone familiar with her competitive drive understood the meaning. If she wants something, she goes after it. And based on this weekend, she would likely dominate. If this analysis connected dots you have noticed, but struggled to explain, subscribe and turn on notifications because the WNBA has entered its most dangerous stage. They created a star they cannot control. And now that star has shown she has choices they never imagined. We are tracking every development in this shifting power dynamic, and what comes next will reshape women's sports forever. Caitlin Clark did not just play golf. She delivered a statement that echoed far beyond the course. She revealed the difference between organizations that see talent as opportunity and those that see it as danger. She turned silence into exposure. She reminded everyone that greatness does not ask permission. It performs. It earns. And then it moves forward while others are still trying to understand what just happened. The conclusion is still forming. But one fact is undeniable. The WNBA just learned a costly lesson about what happens when you try to limit a force of nature.